I had Buck and Bailey by their lead ropes, one on each side of me, walking towards one of the back pastures. That's where my uncle told me to turn them out, then I'd put them in the stables tonight. He said he would have Dawson show me which ones would be mine. I'm lost in my own little world, enjoying the fresh mountain air and the clear blue skies overhead. Montana was beautiful, no doubt. Hey Doc, I heard someone hollering, but I thought nothing of it and kept walking. Doc Kane, oh shit, they are talking to me. It's going to take some getting used to, that's for sure. I stopped and turned towards the voice. It was Mike, the vet tech I had met earlier. He threw me a wave as he was running up to me. He wasn't a huge guy, but he wasn't small either. On the skinny side for a werewolf, but what did I care, as long as he worked hard and knew what he was doing. Sorry to bother you when you're just getting settled, but I gotta put in the order for the supplies for the week. Alpha told me to come find you and have you tell me what you wanted. Oh, okay. I gotta turn my horses out. Can you give me 5 minutes? I gestured towards the pasture with my head, since I had lead ropes in my hand. Mike scratches the back of his, okay sure, can I help? We can talk and walk, you know? He had a southern accent, definitely not from this part of the country. Sure thing Mike, I handed him Buck's lead rope. I doubt Bailey would like him and she could be a biter. We walked towards the pasture. Mike seemed a little uncomfortable. So what brings y'all out here? Mike asked with his cute country accent. I am not one to give out much in the realm of personal information, so I turned it around on him. I could ask you the same thing, because clearly you aren't from around here. Did you elope from your pack or something? I tried to sound like I was joking, but I'm not sure I actually was. Mike ran his hand through his already messy hair, a lock of it falling into his eyes. He had that kind of skater haircut that a lot of the young kids were sporting. Look at me, young kids, like I'm some old lady. Growing up too fast will do that to you. Mike was chewing on his cheek like he didn't know what to say. Actually ma'am, I went to vet tech school up here and I like it a lot. The Alpha gave me a job, and well, everyone knows this is the best ranch in the country. I couldn't turn it down. He gave me a goofy smile. How about you? He asked again. I gave a sigh, and I am sure he heard it. Listen, I said. Please call me Ash, okay? Doc or Dr. Kane is pretty formal. So unless we are dealing with outside people, or unless my uncle told you different, Ash will do just fine. I was avoiding his questions again. He beamed like a kid who just got a lollipop. Yes ma'am. I gave him a side eye, and no ma'am. Reserve that for the old ladies, okay? That ain't me. Oh yeah right. Okay Doc. I gave him a look, and he grit his teeth. Sorry, I mean Ash. My mama raised me to be respectful. I will do my best though. He was grinning again and I just nodded my head. So the Alpha is your uncle, huh? Again with the questions. Yep. That was all he was getting out of me. How long have you been a vet? You don't look very old, he just kept pressing. You're a talker, aren't ya? I said, looking over at him. He just grinned back. I just graduated vet school actually, but I specialized in large animals because I knew I wanted to work with horses. I did an internship at a big veterinarian clinic south of Portland, Oregon. And I am not very old. I graduated from high school early and went right to college. I'm 24. I hoped this would appease his many questions. He did stay quiet for a bit. We got up to the furthest pasture, and I pulled the latch on the gate and swung it open. We led the horses in and I took off their halters and gave them each a smack on the rump. They galloped away, tails in the air, loving their newfound freedom. We locked up the gate, threw some hay over the fence, checked the water trough and headed back towards the clinic, Mike hot on my tail. So you're super smart then, he kind of swallows and continues on. I oughta warn ya Ash, we are pretty far from town here, and well, you know, there's a lot of single guys hanging around this place. He looked nervous. I laughed so hard I snorted. His face turned bright red. I didn't mean anything Ash, just you know, maybe don't walk around in the woods alone and stuff. I gave him a teasing smile. Why not? Is a big bad werewolf gonna get me out there? It was his turn to laugh. Nah, I suppose not. Besides, you're too smart to get entangled with one of them. Smart and petty, he says, pretty with his southern accent. I can't help but think it's cute, but not in the attracted to you kind of cute, just cute to hear him speak. He looked embarrassed, so I didn't say anything about it and just kept walking towards the clinic. Well Mike, tell me what we are supposed to be ordering, huh? I've been on the road for 4 days and nothing sounds better than a hot shower and a soft bed, so you want to tell me what we've got in terms of supplies? It's nearing breeding season for the mares, is it not? I turned the conversation to work. Now Mike is all business. Oh yes Doc, let's get inside and I can show you what meds we have. Maybe you'd like to see what else you need. I'm sure you will want to order gloves that actually fit your hands, and probably some lead for when you have to take x-rays. Our last vet was a big fat old guy, he retired, but we definitely don't have anything small enough for you. I think he was paying me a compliment, but I didn't pay him any mind. Alright then, let's get to it, I said, pushing through the clinic door. As I turned to shut the door behind me, I looked up. There was Dawson, leaning on the arena fence, one leg hitched up on the bottom rung of the fencing, both arms draped lazily over the top of the fence. He was staring right at me. I just gave him a smile and a wave and shut the door. What's with this guy? An hour later, I'm walking out of the clinic towards my truck. I grabbed my suitcase and duffel bag out of the bed of the truck, figuring I will get the rest later. I haul my stuff up to my loft, dropping my bags on the bedroom floor. I barely break the threshold before I'm kicking off my boots and stripping my shirt off over my head. I haven't showered since the morning we left. I figure I must smell like a fat heifer in the heat of summer. The bathroom is actually pretty big. It has a huge walk-in shower with dual shower heads, and a seamless glass door. I turn the water on hot and finish undressing, brushing my teeth while the water gets hot. I waste no time. I even sit on the little stone bench in the shower and shave my legs. It feels so good to be clean. Throwing my hair into a towel, I walk out to my bedroom naked, so freeing to know that no one is going to walk in. I haven't lived alone since the first year of college when I lived in the dorms, a requirement for the university. I throw on some cut-off jean shorts and a red tank top. I quickly brush my hair out and twist it into a braid. I still have to go find Dawson and get stalls for my horses. Slipping my boots back on, I head out towards the stable I saw him enter earlier today. I don't make it 5 feet before I hear his smooth deep voice, "Going somewhere?" I turn around, he's standing in the breezeway of the main horse barn, leaning against the wall, like he had been waiting for me. "Oh hey, yeah, I was actually going to go look for you. I need to get my horses in some stalls, and my uncle," I stopped myself. "Sorry, the alpha told me to find you and you'd let me know which ones are mine." He's not saying anything, just staring at me. I stand there for a long awkward minute, and go to turn around towards the pasture. He's next to me before I even realized he's moved. He places his hand at the small of my back, steering me to the stable that's to the right of the arena. His hand feels warm against my back. It makes me feel kind of funny inside, but not in a bad way. I glance up at his face, but he's looking straight ahead, like he doesn't even notice where his hand sits. "In here," he says as we approach the stable. "You can have these first 2 stalls. They are clean. There's a tack room at the end of the barn, should be a saddle rack that's empty in there. Let me know where you put your tack and I can label that spot as yours tomorrow. Your horses' stalls will also have their names on them." He doesn't even take a breath. When he finishes he looks down at me. "That sound alright to you, Ashlyn?" The way he says my name has my stomach doing somersaults. "Yes, that sounds great, Dawson, thanks." I turn to walk out to get my horses, but he puts his hand on my arm to stop me. I look up at him again, one eyebrow raised. Yeah?" He drops his hand, and takes a step closer. I see his nostrils flare and I know he's trying to smell me. He tilts his head. "What's your horses' names?" What?" I'm taken back by the question. He jerks his thumb towards the stalls, for the name plates. "Your horses' names? Oh right. Bailey and Buck," and as I turn to walk out to the pasture, he is right in step next to me. I say nothing, just keep walking in silence. Oddly enough, it's not uncomfortable. As we reach the gate, I whistle and both my horses come trotting over to the fence. Dawson raises his eyebrows at me, and then a big grin crosses his face. "Not bad," he says, as he unlocks the gate. I grab one of the halters and he grabs the other, heading for Bailey. "Yeah, I don't think you should try to catch her," I warn him. "She's a biter, especially men." He just glances over at me, like he doesn't believe it. He walks up to her, and she takes a step back. As he goes to place his hand on her neck, she swings her head back and snaps her teeth at him. He just chuckles and starts talking to her, in that deep soft voice of his. I admit, he's got a rather soothing timbre to it. "Come on girl, I won't hurt ya. Take it easy now," he's whispering to her, slowly running his hand along her mane. I can't help but think how those hands would feel rubbing all over me. "That a girl," I snap out of my daze just in time to see him halter up Bailey, like he's been doing it for years. I'm actually shocked. She legit hates men, has bitten every single one that has come near her. I throw the halter on Buck, and look over at Bailey. "Traitor," I tell her. Dawson laughs. It's a deep laugh and it sounds nice. "Don't pay it any mind, Ashlyn, I've been known to tame the wildest of beasts." He gives me a wink, as we walk the 2 horses down to the stables. I will keep that in mind. I'm still kind of in shock. We get the horses put in the stalls. I pull the garden hose in and fill the water pails, then shut the doors and latch them. I turn to Dawson, who has walked over to one of the other stalls and is doing the same. Hey, thanks for the help, Dawson. See you later. I wave over my shoulder as I head out to hopefully get some dinner and crash. Dawson, I see her head up to her loft, knowing she's supposed to come see me about the stalls. Normally I'd be cutting out about now, hitting the shower myself, but I decide I can wait around for her a bit. I stand against the stable wall, waiting for her to come down the steps that lead up to the loft. She comes floating down the stairs in a pair of cut-off jean shorts and a tank top that literally outlines every curve. I'm pretty sure I can detect a perky nipple poking through. She's got on her boots, which look sexy as hell with those shorts. I am momentarily stunned as I take in her backside that is strolling away from me. Going somewhere? I ask. When she turns around, her beautiful blue eyes are sparkling back at me. It's all I can do not to stalk right up to her. Her long brown hair is in a braid, pulled over her shoulder. Her hair is still a bit damp and it's gotten her tank top wet. Yep, perky nipple showing through. I have to concentrate to look at her face. I'm in a daze when she turns and walks off. I realize she has said something but I didn't hear a word of it. Oh shit, I say to myself and catch up to her. My hand goes to her lower back all on its own, leading her to the stall barn. We maintain some conversation regarding the stalls and the tack room, and then head to the pasture for her horses. Her mare is a bit skittish when I walk up to her, and Ashlyn warns me. I take that as a challenge. A few minutes later, I've got that mare eating out of the palm of my hand. I'm wishing I could have that same effect on Ashlyn. She seems genuinely impressed that her mare allowed me to touch her and halter her. Points for me, I think to myself. Once we have the horses in their stalls, I try not to look like a creep, staring at her ass as she bends over to fill the water buckets, but I can't help it. She's gorgeous. Every part of her. I notice a small scar where that wound was on her leg. I make a mental note to ask her what happened. Before I know it, she's waving goodbye and prancing away from me. I'm standing there, my jaw hanging open, watching her walk away. Dang it, Dawson, I think to myself. Get it together. That's the alpha's niece. We had been at the ranch a week. I hadn't heard a thing about what was happening back home. I was settling into a routine, getting to know the workings of the ranch and getting to know my team of vet techs. All nice young men, all hardworking. For that I was pleased. One of them was mated to one of the cowgirls that worked the horses. The other two were single and talked way too much about wanting to go into town, wherever that was. Finally I asked, "Hey Jared, what's so great about going into town anyway? What's there?" "Oh, you know, stuff to do." That was his answer. "Okay, like what kind of stuff? Is it dangerous? Are either other wolves?" I wanted a real answer. "Oh yeah, I gotcha. And there's a nice bar and dance hall, a movie theater, a couple restaurants, and then there is Pauline." He winked at Mike, who just rolled his eyes. "I'm not sure I want to know about Pauline." "What about humans?" This was what I really needed to know. Not that they bothered me, I spent all of my college years surrounded by them. I just needed to know where to be on guard, if I did go into town. Pauline is his love interest. She works at the Starlight Diner, Mike piped up. As far as humans, not too many. They just pass through from time to get gas or stop at one of the restaurants. The town is actually owned by the pack. Not everyone can live here at the ranch, only the cowboys and cowgirls and the alpha and his family. Mike was giving me a lot of information. "Oh yeah, so where is the beta?" I asked. "He doesn't live where the alpha does? That's kind of unusual." "Oh yeah, the beta lives here too. He's got a house on the backside of the smaller stables. The beta is Cody, you know him, the livestock manager." Jared finally decides to give up some useful information. I nod my head in understanding, getting back to the specimen I was examining on the microscope. "You find anything, Doc?" Mike asks, walking around next to me. I lift my head up and point to the scope, letting him know he can look. "You see those little white things that look like they are swimming around?" I tell him. He nods his head. "Those are a type of parasite, similar to a tapeworm but smaller. That means you boys are going to have to go round up all the cattle dogs and bring them in so we can treat them all. If one has it, they probably all do." Mike and Jared throw on their jackets and head out the door to try and get all the dogs into the clinic. Garrett has the night shift tonight, so he's home sleeping, or maybe helping his mate change diapers. They have a newborn at home. Cute little thing, red hair just like his daddy. Just as I'm cleaning up and preparing the medication for the dogs, Mom walks in, looking a little on edge. "Everything okay, Mom?" I come around the desk to give her a hug. I just got a call from your uncle Tobias. They are doing it tonight. She was referring to them executing my father. I shook my head in understanding. She's nervous about the pain she will feel when the bond breaks. She had already felt plenty of pain, with all his infidelity. She stands there twisting her hands. I pull her back into a hug. What can I do, Mom? She's trembling. I was hoping you could give me something? You know, like a sedative? She has hopeful look in her eye. Mom, you know I'm a veterinarian, not a pack doctor. Did you ask Uncle Gabe if they have a doctor here? I am rubbing her back, trying to be comforting. I did. And he called the pack doctor. He said if I shift and you dose me in wolf form, it should be okay. He said to tell you that you need to quadruple the dose that you would give a regular wolf, so you will have to weigh me in my wolf form and then dose it. He said if you have questions, you can call him. She pulled a piece of paper out of her pocket with a name and number on it. I can stay in the clinic tonight, sleep it off, and in the morning, I should just feel hollow, but the pain itself should be subsided. We need to do it soon though. Tobias said they will finish it at sunset, so I need to be out by then. She looked at me with pleading eyes. I took a deep breath. This was my mom, and she had suffered enough because of Grady. It was time it ended. Okay, Mom, I will do it. But I'm going to stay in the clinic with you. I want to be sure you're okay. I can sleep on one of the cots. Are you sure, Ash? You don't need to be uncomfortable on my account. She had sadness in her voice that I couldn't miss. Mom, it's fine. I've slept in worse places and in worse conditions. Let's get this done. I've just got to medicate the cattle dogs and then I will kick out the vet techs. They don't need to know what we are up to. I went back to what I had been doing and Mom shrunk down into the chair that was in the far corner. 2 hours later, we had all the ranch dogs treated for the parasite and the vet techs were nowhere in sight. I called Garrett and told him to take the night off. I'd take call. It was easier than having him walking in here in the middle of the night with my mom's wolf sedated in the back. I walked Mom to the back. She took off her clothes, laying them on an exam table and shifted. I pointed to the scale and she stepped on. I wrote down her weight and she jumped off the scale and started pacing in her wolf form. I looked up from my clipboard, trying to make the drug calculations. I didn't want to screw this up. This was my mom. I had the pencil tapping on the counter, doing a double check on the dose. Okay, I've got the dose. I'm going to draw up the medication, but I need you to stop pacing and go lay down on that mat over there. I pointed to a big soft mat in the corner that I had gotten for her, out of the storage. She tilted her wolf head towards me, and I pointed with my finger giving her an eye. She walked over and with a HMPHH, laid on the mat. I wanted to check the door before I did this, so I walked around and made sure the deadbolt was secure and then returned to the back, a large syringe in hand. I was a little shaky drawing up the sedation, nonetheless I got it done. I walked towards my mom's wolf form, talking softly to her the whole time, hoping she would relax. I'm going to have to grab the scruff of your neck to inject this. You will feel a pinch and a slight burn. Then you should be fine after that, you will drift into sleep. She tilted her head at me, and I walked over grabbing the scruff of her neck. Even laying down, being in wolf form, her shoulders were at my thigh. She may be petite as a human, but being an alpha, her wolf was huge. Don't bite me, I gave her a hard look. Then slipped the needle in. She let out a yelp, but didn't move. I injected all the sedation and stepped back, watching her. She put her head down on her paws, and shortly after her eyelids drifted closed. She went into a steady breathing pattern, like she was sleeping. I walked to the desk and picked up my cell phone, dialing Uncle Tobias. Hey Ash, everything good out there? Yeah, it's fine. Listen, I just sedated Mom, so whatever you're gonna do, can you do it quickly? I don't want her to wake in the middle of it. This whole thing has been hard enough for her. I bit my lip watching her sleeping wolf form. Uncle Tobias let out a sigh on the other end of the phone. Yeah, I know. I just wish she had told us. Maybe things could have been better for the both of you. He paused. Ash, can I ask you something? Yeah, sure, I quickly responded. How long was this going on? Did he ever hurt you? I mean, other than this instance where you called me? His voice sounded strained. I guess since I was about 7. He was cheating on her with humans from that bar in the town nearby. She confronted him a few times and he started hitting her then. Since he was working at the sawmill on the night shift, I didn't see much of him. But to answer your question, this was the first time he had hurt me. I would have let you know sooner if Mom would have allowed it, but she was embarrassed. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I was trying not to cry, but it was useless, as I stood there thinking of all the times my mom had been the object of his abuse. Don't blame yourself, Ashlyn, none of it is your fault. I'm just glad you did call. We are going to take care of this, keep your mom sedated for the night. It will all be over within the next few hours. He hung up after that. I prepared myself for a long night, hoping that what I gave her was enough to keep her asleep till morning. I spent the next few hours working on some paperwork and going over files on the Maras we were planning to breed. I had to meet with Cody tomorrow to review a few things for breeding season. We also had to plan for the cattle too. I was already tired thinking of it, but this is what I wanted. I can't say I wasn't happy, I actually loved it here. This job was a blessing and the eye candy walking around wasn't anything to complain about either. As I thought of that, I realized I hadn't checked on my horses today. I had seen Dawson walk them out to pasture for me this morning. I had intended to put them back in the stalls, but then this whole thing happened with Mom. I looked to the door, and then back to her. She seemed to be sleeping soundly. I will just take 5 minutes. I slipped quietly out the door, locking it behind me, the key securely in my jeans pocket. I ran across the yard to the stables where my horses were and stepped inside, the motion sensor lights coming on. I breathed a sigh of relief when I saw that someone had graciously put them back into their stalls. I checked the water buckets and they were full. I leaned myself against the stall door, rubbing Bailey's nose and blowing kisses on her face, making her nostrils flare. I loved this horse, she was an absolute worker. We had penned and roped cattle, drove cattle off mountains, sometimes in the snow, and she never failed me, never faltered. She was one of the few things in my life that had felt like something secure. I looked around the barn, a smile on my face. This feels pretty secure now too. I gave her one last pat on her neck and headed back to the clinic. I glanced at the clock on the wall as I strode back in. It was just past midnight. I needed to get some sleep myself, but I just couldn't bring myself to lay down. Dawson and I lay asleep in my room, the curtains open to let the moonlight in. I had an apartment that was over the stables where we kept the work horses, that included Ashland's. Since my curtain was open, I saw the sudden light across the dirt outside the stable. I knew that was a motion sensor light that had come on in the stalls. We hadn't had any coyotes in a long time, so I didn't figure it was that. I sighed, unable to sleep, threw on my jeans and walked out to the balcony that was just above the entrance. I could hear someone walking around in the stables, and then I got a whiff of her scent. Rain. I looked at the clock on my nightstand. What the heck was she doing up at this hour? Did one of the animals fall sick? I looked over to the clinic and saw that lights were on inside, but the lights to her loft were not. I figure if she needs my help, she will ask. So I stand there in the dark, listening to her soft voice whisper to her horses. Just like that, she walks out, still in the clothes she had on earlier in the day. She heads back to the clinic, unlocking the door and going inside. I can see her through the blinds, they aren't closed. She walks to the back and a few minutes later she's back out front. She's doing paperwork at the desk. I just shake my head. I thought I was a workaholic. Well, I'm up, may as well make her some coffee and check and make sure everything is okay. I sat at the desk, looking over an invoice for some supplies we had purchased. I was trying to keep myself busy, otherwise, I'm going to be passed out too. I hear a tap 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 on the clinic door. I look up to see Dawson standing outside. He sees me through the little window and holds up a mug. With a sigh, I stand up and make my way to the door. I really could use some coffee anyway. And probably food, but that will have to wait. I've got a granola bar if I really get famished. I cracked the door. Hey, I said. What's up? Dawson holds out the cup of coffee. I saw you in there burning the midnight oil, figured you may want some coffee. He looks behind me and then down to my face, with a soft smile. What are you up to? Want some help, or maybe some company? I didn't want to look like I was doing something shady, so I opened the door some more and let him walk in. I pointed to the chairs against the wall. Have a seat. I don't need any help, but thanks for the coffee. I went and sat next to him in the other chair. He's looking at me with a curious expression. Care to tell me why you're still in here working, wearing the same clothes you had on all day? Don't you have a meeting with Cody in the morning? He sipped his coffee and looked at me over the rim. I fidgeted in my seat a little. I had something to take care of. It couldn't wait till tomorrow? He reached over and pushed some loose strands of hair behind my ear that had long ago fallen out of my braid. It was endearing. I didn't pull away. Not exactly. It was time sensitive. I couldn't even look him in the eyes. Interesting, he says. Then he just shifts his weight in the chair. You hungry? I can make you a sandwich or something. No, my traitorous stomach gave me away and decided to growl loud enough for him to hear. Dawson chuckled. Seems like your stomach disagrees. I will be back in a couple minutes. don't you leave now. He sets his mug on the side table and walks out the door. I take this opportunity to go check on my mom, she's still sound asleep. She lets out a little whimper now and then, but that's it. I check her respirations, still even and deep. I head back out to the front, to await my sandwich. A few minutes later, Dawson strolled back in. He had a plate in hand that contained a very large roast beef and cheddar sandwich. Hope you like roast beef, it's all I had. Does it have Worcestershire sauce on it? I asked. Yeah, do you not like that? He asked, now looking concerned. Nope, I love it. No self-respecting person eats roast beef without it. I held out my hand for the plate, a big smile on my face. Thanks, I haven't eaten since breakfast. Dawson sits back in the chair, stretching out his long legs, his jeans hugging every muscle in those huge thighs of his. Nothing gets you muscles like the like riding horses. I realized I was staring and snapped my head back to my sandwich, hoping he didn't notice. A few minutes go by, and we sit in silence. Only the sound of me devouring my sandwich like the hungry wolf that I am. After the last bite, I smack my lips together in satisfaction and give him my best smile. That was possibly the best sandwich I've had all day. That garnered a good laugh, considering we both knew it was the only sandwich I'd had all day. Dawson leans forward, his elbows resting on his thighs. Seriously though, Ashlyn, why are you up so late? I know the alpha and he wouldn't make anyone work this late, unless it was an emergency. Oh, I just had to take care of something. I was going to just sleep here on the cot in the back. I told Garrett I'd take call tonight. No one had to sleep in the clinic, but I was hoping Dawson would forget that part. Right, he says, with a tone that tells me he knows I'm lying. He abruptly stands up, too quick for me to stop him. He strides right for the door to the back. I'm so close to him that when he stops abruptly, my chest bumps into his back. I stumble back a bit, and he reaches his hand back and grabs me to steady me. Who is that? Ash, you have a sleeping werewolf in here. What the hell for? He turns to me, now with a serious look on his face, a hint of unease behind his eyes. I shift back and forth between my feet. I don't know why I was so nervous about someone besides my uncles knowing about this, but it just felt kind of wrong. It's my mom, I whisper. Now he's turned facing me fully. What? He looks back at my mom's wolf sleeping there, then pushes me back out the door to the front. Why is your mom in wolf form, sleeping in the clinic? Is she sick? Did you call the pack doctor? The pack doctor knows actually, I admitted. I don't actually need to stay here, but I feel better about it. I don't want her to wake up till the morning. I give him a pleading look, as if to say Aunt, ask me any more questions. Dawson puts his hand on my elbow and walks me back to the chairs. I feel warmth from his hand, a shiver runs down my spine. I must have actually shivered because he looks over at me and asks if I'm cold. I just shake my head no. Werewolves don't usually get cold. Ashlyn, maybe it's not my business and maybe it is. I am the ranch foreman, and I need to know what's going on around here. So I'm going to ask you to not make me go wake up the alpha. I'm going to ask you to tell me what's going on right now. I don't know why you're so secretive about stuff, but I'm sure this has something to do with those secrets you've got tucked away. So talk to me, please. His eyes are pleading, but his tone is firm. I take a deep breath. I knew this would happen at some point. Someone would have to know about us, about what had happened. I sedated her. She needs to stay that way till morning. If she doesn't, she's going to experience excruciating pain, and she doesn't deserve any more pain. I'm practically whispering, as a single tear slides down my face. Dawson reaches over and wipes away my tear, his hand lingering on my cheek. Why, Ash, why will she be in pain? His voice is soft now. He sits waiting patiently while I collect my thoughts. I look Dawson right in the eye, because my father was being executed tonight. The look on Dawson's face was near comical, shocked wouldn't even be the right description. Come again, he says, clear disbelief at what I just said. A bit more firmly, I said it again. My father was executed tonight. I wouldn't even call him my father actually, maybe just a sperm donor. He's useless and my mom needed to be rid of him. You know when your mate dies, it's horrible, right? My uncles told me to sedate her, even had the pack doctor give me instruction on how to sedate her with livestock sedation. That's why she's in wolf form. I had to do it with her in wolf form. At this point I am rambling and Dawson doesn't say anything, nor does he try to stop me. The floodgates are opening now and I can't help it, more tears rolling down my cheeks. He was horrible, horrible. He used to beat her all the time. He used to cheat on her with any floozy who would open their legs. Humans too. Mom never wanted anyone to know, she was embarrassed. The last straw was when he stabbed me. I reported him to my uncle. That's how we ended up here. The last sentence came out on a hitched sob I was trying to keep in. I didn't even know what was happening when Dawson grabbed me and pulled me to his lap, wrapping his arms around me. He was rubbing circles on my back and whispering in my ear, "Shoo, it's okay, Ash. Don't cry. I'm so sorry." His arms felt nice, wrapped around me. It didn't even feel awkward that I was on his lap, my head resting on his shoulder as I tried to gather my senses. I sniffled a little and then pushed myself back. "I'm sorry. I just unloaded on you. I really didn't want people to know our business. My mom is humiliated. Promise you won't say anything." My eyes were pleading with him. "It's okay, Ash, I won't say anything. You can talk to me though, if you ever feel like you need to vent. I promise to lock away all your secrets and throw away the key." He makes a motion like he's locking his lips and tossing the key. This makes me laugh just a little, smacking him lightly on the shoulder. I go to move off his lap and he hugs me tighter, his vibrant green eyes staring back at me. "Don't," he whispers, and then pulls my head back to his shoulder. We sit there for I don't know how long. The exhaustion must have caught up with me, because I fell asleep, in his arms, sitting on an office chair. Dawson shifts his weight in the chair. I slowly open my eyes, forgetting for a second where I am. I glance at the clock. It's 4 in the morning. I look over at Dawson's face, his arms are still tightly wrapped around me. He gives me a grin. "Did you enjoy your nap?" he asks, a smirk on his face. I scramble out of his lap. "I'm so sorry. I must have been really tired. You should go, you have to work in a few hours." He stands and takes a step towards me. "So do you, Ashlyn." He takes another step towards me. I feel my face get flushed and suddenly I'm nervous, butterflies in my stomach. Dawson reaches out and grabs my hand and pulls me tight against him. He puts a hand up to my cheek and before I know it, his lips are on mine. His kiss is soft, gentle, his tongue begging my mouth to open and give him access. And I do. It's the best kiss I have ever had in my life. Every part of my body is lit up with electricity. My body is not listening to my brain. My arms wrap around his neck, pulling him closer as I kiss him back. It's so intense, I can hardly breathe. When we pull apart, he's smiling at me, searching my eyes for something. Dawson takes a step back. "See you in a few hours, Ashlyn." He winks and walks out the door. I'm standing there, speechless, my hand touching my mouth in shock. I don't know what that was, but I want more. Dawson, I'm standing in the arena, leading one of the colts around. I'm trying to get him to learn not to be spooked by random noises. This is how I start out with every horse, teach them not to get spooked. It's barely 7 in the morning. Ashlyn hasn't come out of the clinic yet, but I see her through the glass. She must have realized the time. I see her glance at the clock and then at the door. Garrett should be coming in for his shift any minute. A few minutes later, Ashlyn walks out with her mother in tow. It's only the second time since they have arrived that I have actually seen her mother. Ashlyn looks like a younger version of her mother, only taller. Ashlyn clearly has more defined muscles, from years of riding horses. I see them walk up the steps to Ashlyn's apartment. The curtains to the big picture window are opened. Ashlyn walks through the living room. I can see her lips moving. I'm Pret. Why good at reading lips? She's telling her mom to go to bed and pointing at a door. I then see Ashlyn turn towards the other bedroom. Clearly forgetting the curtains are open and it's daylight, she slips out of her shirt. I stop moving the horse around the arena. I think he's more confused by my lack of movement, as he snorts at me. That snaps me out of it and I turn back to business. All I can think about is her. Her story has me thinking of the pain and heartbreak they have had to endure. A mate dying is a difficult thing to endure, although I have a feeling her mother isn't going to be missing him much. He sounds horrible. I just can't believe someone would do that to their mate and their child. I look up again at the window, but I can no longer see her and the bedroom door is shut. I can guess she has decided to get some shut-eye before her 10 o'clock with Cody. I can't blame her, it was a long night. A smile forms on my lips, thinking about that kiss. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I couldn't help myself. I feel drawn to her. I feel the need to take away her heartache. Cody ambles up, stopping in front of me. I didn't even hear him approach. "Hey man, didn't you hear me calling to you? You lost in space or something?" He asks me with a knowing grin on his face. He glances up to Ashlyn's window and back to me. Shit, I think he caught me acting like a damn peeping Tom. "Oh hey, sorry. I was thinking about getting this colt ready, that's all." I lie. I know he knows I'm lying, but he says nothing, just keeps grinning at me like an idiot. "Sure thing, Dawson." He walks towards the gate now, motioning me to follow. "We need to talk about how we are going to handle breeding these horses." I'm meeting with Ashlyn later this morning. We have to get our schedule lined up. So let's figure this out. He nods towards the barn where both our offices are. Okay, sure, let me put this colt away and I will be right there. I go to lead the colt back to the pasture, tea rolling over my shoulder, and make coffee. It just hit me, I'm tired as hell. I didn't sleep much. When Ashlyn fell asleep in my lap, I didn't dare move. I just held her. I felt like she needed rest far more than I did. It actually gave me the chance to really study her. Honestly, I was kicking myself. I'm thinking that Alpha Gabe is probably going to kill me if I get involved with his niece, but I'm willing to risk it, now that I know what even a kiss does to me. She's intoxicating, and my wolf goes crazy in my head whenever I'm near her. He's never done that before, and I can't help to think what that means. I smile to myself as I make my way back to the barn. This woman is probably going to be the death of me. Cody, I'm no idiot, and I pay attention to things around the ranch. My house faces the stable where Ashlyn's horses are. I saw her go in there around midnight. I also saw Dawson come down the steps from his loft last night, since it is on the same side of the stable as my front window. All the motion sensor lights make it hard for people to sneak around this place. I was up before dawn. The lights were still on in the clinic and I could clearly see Ashlyn still inside, same clothes as the day before. She looked exhausted and I was going to make it my mission to find out what's going. I saw her come out of the clinic just shy of 7 this morning, with what I can only assume is her mother, as they look so much alike, although Ashlyn is taller. Her mother looks tired too, but not as tired as Ashlyn. They make their way up to Ashlyn's loft, and I see Dawson also watching them with careful eyes. He's got a stupid grin on his face. I figured he'd be interested in the new veterinarian, who wouldn't be? If I were 20 years younger, I might be as well. I'm old enough to be her father though, so that isn't happening. Once I see her mother, I'm kind of baffled. She's beautiful, albeit petite for a werewolf. I have to wonder where is her mate? What brew? GHT them here. Alpha didn't tell me much, said it was personal, that his sister needed a fresh start. That was all he was willing to give and I wasn't going to push him. I may be his beta, but if he said that was all he was telling, I wasn't inclined to piss him off. I decide I need to pull Dawson out of his dead head space. He's not doing that colt any good staring off distracted. After I walk up to him in the arena, I've no doubt now what he is distracted by. In spite of it, we have work to do. We are about to go into one of the busiest times of the year for the ranch. I need his head in the game. So I make my way to my office and throw on a pot of coffee. I've 3 hours to figure this out before I meet with Ashlyn, and I will be sure to try and fish around hopefully without her being suspicious about my questions. I'd like to know more about why they came here, and how long they are planning to stay. I'm tired. Exhausted is a better word. Once Mom wakes, I tell her to shift back and get dressed, so we can go get some real sleep. I've got a meeting with Cody at 10, and I don't want to be falling asleep in front of him. Mom looks horrible. She was whimpering most of the night. I ask how she feels and she just shrugs. Come on Mom, I need more than that. I can't help if you don't talk to me. I don't know Ash, I guess I feel empty. There's a hole in my heart. Mom looks at me, and her eyes seemed pained but she also seems less tense than yesterday. I just nod, because I don't know what to say. My father was a monster. A horrible excuse for a mate and father. She must have seen the hardened look on my face, because she touches my arm gently and says, I'm not sad though, I actually feel like a weight is lifted off my soul. I understand exactly what she means. Okay Mom, let's get some sleep. I need it before my day can start or I won't make it. You can crash in the second bedroom of my place, it might do you some good to just rest without others hovering around. Andy making you feel weird. She nods and I take her up T0 my apartment. I saw Dawson as I made our way upstairs. I felt his eyes on me. I tried to make it a point not to look his way. Even in my exhaustion, I can't help but feel my cheeks flush as I remember that kiss. It set me on fire. What was I thinking, kissing him back like that? I didn't regret it, but I knew I shouldn't be mixing business with pleasure and I'm not sure how my uncle will take it. I don't have time to think about that right now though, I need sleep. When I get to my room, I kick the door shut with my heel and head straight to the shower. I wasn't even in there 5 minutes, before I just plopped into my bed, hair still wet. I didn't bother putting clothes on. I set my alarm and was asleep before my head hit the pillow. Alright, seems we have a plan in place. Cody leans back in his chair, Ashlyn and Dawson sitting across from him. We can start breeding these cows in a week, they should be in their heat cycle by then. The horses shouldn't be too far behind. I'm going to have to let the vet techs take a long weekend before we start all this. They won't be getting a day off for a few weeks, Ashlyn says as she taps her pen on the desktop. Cody nods. I think that's a good idea. In fact, I think we should give all the ranch hands some time off. What do you say, Dawson? Think you can give your hands a few days? I think I'm okay with the cattle, just gotta make sure they get fed is all. Dawson leans back, rubbing his hand on the back of his neck. He's pretty tired and wouldn't mind the rest of today off, and he's pretty sure Ashlyn is ready to fall over herself. She had less sleep than he did. Sure, when do we want to give them time? Should we speak to the alpha first? Cody waves his hand in dismissal. I got that, don't worry. I will let you guys know what he says. I have to meet with him at 3 this afternoon to update him on what we have planned. Cody stands, gathering up all the papers they had been looking over. He nods to Dawson. You should go get some sleep yourself. You're looking like shit and that's hard for a werewolf to do. Dawson grunts at that and stands to leave. Cody looks at Ashlyn. Can I have a word with you, Ash? Dawson looks from Cody to Ashlyn and back. He suddenly feels like he doesn't want to leave and sits back in the chair. Cody glances over at him. Go get some rest, he says again, but this time with more authority, letting his beta aura out. Dawson growls a little but stands to leave. What's that about? Ashlyn says as she watches Dawson walk out. Cody laughs. I got an idea, but I ain't saying anything. Listen, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. If you don't want to answer them, you don't have to. Ashlyn shrugs and sits back in the chair. Okay. Shoot. Whatcha got? I don't know how to ask this without sounding kind of like a creep, so I'm just going to say first, I'm old enough to be your father, so I don't want you to take this the wrong way. He glances at her as he finishes cleaning up the papers and putting back in their respective folders. Okay. I gotcha. You're not a perv. She chuckles. Cody sits back down. So I heard from Garrett you took call last night and gave him the night off. I couldn't help but notice the lights on in the clinic all night. You know you don't have to stay up when you take call, right? Yep, I know. She just looked at him, waiting for what was next. Okay, so what were you doing up all night, if you don't mind me asking? Ashlyn fidgeted for a minute in her seat, trying to decide how to answer. She was a terrible liar, so she just avoided even trying. She did know how to be evasive though. I just had some stuff to do. I was working on some paperwork. None of that was a lie. Right, Cody leans back in his chair. I saw you and your mom coming out of there real early. She was with you all night? Yes, she was. Again, she wasn't lying. Well, I don't understand is why she would be in the clinic with you all night. She doesn't work with animals at all, or does she? He's reaching for her to give him some kind of answer that makes sense to him. No sir, she doesn't. She avoids the first part of the question. Listen Ash, I don't mean to pry, but as the beta, it's kind of my job to know what's going on around here. I don't like you working yourself into a zombie. If you won't tell me exactly why she was with you all night, at least tell me why you two came here. He's hoping for a straight answer. Didn't my uncle tell you? I came here for the job. It's part of the truth, and Ashlyn is wondering how much longer she can avoid his questions. Cody waves his hand, as if to say yeah whatever. Why did your mom come with you? Where's her mate? Ashlyn takes a deep sigh. That's to direct to avoid. She came with me to start a new life. And her mate is dead. Cody didn't expect that. Oh, I'm sorry. Rogue attack? No sir. He was executed. Last night. Ashlyn figured she should just get this over with. She really wanted to go snuggle her pillow. And that is why she was with me. I wanted to make sure she was okay, that she didn't suffer too much. Cody just raised an eyebrow. He knew if he was pushing it if he asked how exactly she was making sure she didn't suffer, but he imagined the alpha knew all this, so he let it go. Okay. I'm sorry Ash. It's probably painful for you as well. Hope you don't think I'm an ass for butting in. He pauses to gauge her reaction. She's just staring at him. Alright, well that will be all. Get some sleep, we can talk tomorrow about the breeding schedule and when we can give everyone some time off. Ashlyn gives him a nod, stands and walks out the door. She's hoping that he doesn't tell her mother. She would be embarrassed if she knew that Ashlyn was forced to share their business. Nothing could be done about it now. Dawson and Cody are not likely to tell anyone else about it. Time to go catch some sleep. Ashlyn and I stood in my room, staring at the clothes in my closet. Mom was sitting on the bed watching me. Come on Mom, you should come out with us. We all need a break and I won't have a day off for a while. I turned to face her. It's not a big deal, it's just a bar and maybe some dancing. You know you could use it, you've been moping around since the day we got here. Time to start living. I gave her a knowing look. Okay fine, but Ashlyn, don't try to force me to smile, she smirked. My mother actually smirked. I hadn't seen a touch of a smile on her face in a very long time. Maybe she was finally healing. I gave her a bright smile. Now you know I can't promise that, mother. I turned back to looking for the top I had been trying to locate. You should go get dressed. We are leaving in a half an hour. I will come to the main house and get you as soon as I'm done here. My mom sighed. Okay, I will be ready. See you in 30. I nodded and waved my hand at her, to say bye. I heard her get up and the front door open and shut. Good, this will be good for her. As promised, 30 minutes later I was at my uncle's house. You sure this is a good idea, Ashlyn? Uncle Gabe asked me. Of course it is. She needs to get out. She's been moping around. She needs to see that life doesn't have to be sadness and loneliness. She's had over 17 years of sadness and loneliness. Now that the cause of that is gone and she seems to be healing in here, I pointed to my heart, she should try to have a life. My uncle nodded. You know, you're pretty smart, kiddo. Just be careful, don't let the cowboys get too riled up tonight. He gave me a knowing wink. Not sure what you mean, I'm not a babysitter of grown men. Mom was just coming down the steps, dressed in blue jeans and a pair of boots. Her hair hung in waves to her shoulders and she had very light makeup on. I don't think I recall the last time I saw her wear makeup or do her IR. This was certainly an improvement from the woman who had been moping around this past week. Uncle Gabe chuckled. Well, you must be blind then. When I say riled up, I mean about you. I am the alpha, you know. Don't think I don't hear the chatter about how beautiful my niece is. He gave me a wink and then turned to my mother. You look great, Carolyn. Now you make sure you have fun tonight. I was just kind of standing there in shock at his words. It was funny to me that he was making light of it, when I knew he probably wasn't happy about it. I think he also realizes that I'm a grown woman and I will make my own choices. I shook myself out of my thoughts, gave my mom a smile and we headed out the door to my waiting truck. Since I had a crew cab, there were already 3 of the crew loaded in the back seat. Cody's truck hung in the driveway, engine running, loaded up with the rest of the crew. This is going to be an interesting night. The hour drive into town didn't feel like an hour. We had plenty of friendly chatter in the truck on the way. All of the ranch hands were curious about my mom, since none of them had met her yet. I think she rather enjoyed the attention, she was smiling the entire way.